What's up, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? This is the Area 210 podcast. My name is Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. In the middle, you see Matt Lerma, who was inside the locker room at last night's NCAA Men's Championship game at the Alamo Dome. I cannot believe that's the way the game ended. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That was the last play for the Houston Cougars. The Cougars losing 65-63 to the Florida Gators. Congratulations to Florida, the national champions. Houston, with 16 minutes to go, was up by 12 points. The big question, did they blow that game? Did Florida win that game? And what the hell happened in the final couple of minutes of the game, especially with that last play? Joe, how you doing today, my man?
Oh, doing good, man. Had to sneeze there, but man, I can't believe that's the way the Houston Cougars ended their miraculous season on a botched play. And as we talked about it before coming out on air, just making poor shot selection down the stretch just cost them the game, man. They just made poor decisions, man. They actually gave this one away. They gave it away.
65-63 at the Alamo Dome. San Antonio doing a fantastic job hosting the Final Four yet again. Matt Lerma was in the middle of it all, covering his first Final Four ever, having a blast, having the time of his life. Matt, what was the mood like in the locker room after the game?
It was just crazy. Everybody was and up and down. It was crazy, but man, everyone was celebrating. All the players were warned it's a felony to jump in the river. So they were talking about how it was messed up that they can't river today, but but man, it was fun. On the way out to the locker room, I threw every player a cigar, so they had cigars and were just enjoying everything, talking to the press, talking about, taking the championship home and all that. So it was just an amazing experience.
That's amazing. You handed out stogies. That's fantastic. Joined by Matt Lerma. You can follow him on Twitter /X at @MattLerma_PS. Last night's game, it was a battle of two teams that are known for defense more than it is offense, right? If you wanted an offensive game, you would have had Duke against Auburn. That game would have been 120 to 118, right? But this is the two defensive teams battling it out for the championship. Neither team could make a three-pointer to start the game. The first 10 minutes of the game, they were just chunking up bricks, literal bricks, not even hitting the rim, literal bricks being thrown out there. You see Houston get better and better as time goes on. They take a 12-point lead. 2 technical fouls by Florida in the second half, one by the coaches for jumping onto the court or stepping onto the court, rather, to dispute a call. And then later on, you had a player who slammed the ball down. The ball went straight up into the air, kind of a stupid technical foul. All of a sudden, Houston's up by 12. The Alamo Dome is rocking. Blood is in the water. Houston's favored by 12 or up by 12 at this point. But the question is, man, Florida comes back to win this game. Did they just lay an egg? Did Houston just wet the bed and lose this game? Or in your eyes, you think Florida just came and took it from them?
You got to give credit to the Gators because that was the story all weekend. The team was down, found a way to come back, and Florida did that against Auburn, Houston did it against Duke, and then Florida did it again against Houston. It was just whoever. Back in the press room, a lady said that whoever wins is gonna be the toughest team, and I think that Florida just happened to be that tough team today or last night. They back and they just had it in them, and they got the comeback win. I mean, how can you not give them the credit? We could talk about Sharp should have took that shot, all that kind of stuff for Houston, but at the end of the day, the Florida Gators won. They won 12 in the second half and found a way to come back and make it happen despite the technical fouls and the crowd being against them mostly. I would say it would be Houston favorite crowd. The Florida Gator fans were loud. The Houston fans were way louder. So it was a hostile atmosphere almost for them, and they just way to make it happen.
It was basically a home game for the Houston Cougars. My big problem with Houston was Part of me is thinking to myself, well, this is just the way that they play. Before the tournament started, everyone knew that Houston had a suffocating defense, but that offensively they were just offensively, they didn't have top talent offensively. It was like 5 Sohans running around out there who could all play defense, but offensively were kind of just, hit and miss. My problem with it, the last 12 minutes of the game, was it felt as though, to me, Houston was not playing to win. They were playing not to lose. And you saw that every time they brought the ball up the court, 30-second shot clock, they weren't starting anything until the 10-second mark. They were burning 20 seconds, and then they were getting a bad shot. And then it all just ended down the stretch with the way that it felt like, man. It was just a symbol of the last 10 minutes of the game, holding up a shot to win the game, and the Houston player holding back and not letting it fly. And then the ball hit the court, and no shot attempt to win the game, no shot attempt to tie the game. Ultimately, literally, they brought the ball back on, man. That shot attempt, he held on to it. It was the most brutal way to end the game because you'll never know if that's going to go in. That's going to haunt him for the rest of his life. Now, again, Florida had blocked a few three-pointers in the second half, right? 3-point attempts. But for him to not fire that shot, I have no idea what was going on in their mind. They had called a timeout. It wasn't like there was no timeouts left. They called a timeout. They had a play drawn up. He just refused to shoot it. And then nothing went up, Joe.
I think he just got shook, man. He was going to go ahead and make the shot, but I guess he just didn't have the confidence in it. He kind of got a little, I guess, shook up when they were going to contest the shot, made him change his mind, and then he remembered, oh, shit, if I come back down with the ball, it's going to go the other way. So he let it go. He let it go, and he was like, I can't touch it. And nobody else jumped in right away except for Florida, saw the opportunity, and that's the way the game ended. Florida recovered the ball. Time expired. Houston went home with the nil.
Could have been the hero, man. Could have been the hero.
But
now, if it got blocked, it got blocked. But he'll never know. He held up the shot. I have never seen that to end the game. 3, 2, 1 to end the game. Man, let's just not let it fly. Let's just let it hit the ground. Brutal. But the locker room, Matt, Houston Cougars, they were up by 12 with 16 minutes to go. They were up by, 3 with 2 minutes to go. It had to be a very somber locker room atmosphere.
Yeah. That's putting it lightly. It was devastating in the locker room. I think the thing about the Final Four weekend is that kind of got to know the players a bit. Like, we got to know the players and the Houston players and the Duke players, but like more to an extent, I would say we got to know the Houston players the best, and like they knew us, we knew them, and you could just see it in their faces. Like, they didn't want to talk, that kind of stuff. Just real sad. Me and and everyone else from Tyler Glasscock and Casey were host a Space Tonight on X, and just kind of debrief and go through everything experienced and all of our emotions and everything. It was really tough. Like, I'm really for the Houston Gators, but to know these people a little bit over the week, just to see them in that state of, it was just it was a bit of an emotional roller coaster for us. So we're gonna debrief tonight at 9 p.m. on Twitter, you guys, or X. Nice. So if you guys want to get behind the scenes info, you got to go to check it out.
So, San Antonio hosted the Final Four yet again. This might be the last men's one for quite some time, maybe until Project Marvel is completed, maybe a decade from now. We do have a women's Final Four, I believe, coming up in the near future. What's weird about it is that San Antonians get so upset about the Alamo Dome, right? But for some reason, for this particular event, it just fits. And I was online, I was on Twitter, just seeing what people's reaction was, visitors to San Antonio. Do they like the Alamo Dome? Why is it that San Antonio hates the Alamo Dome, but visitors tend to like it?
I think that for San Antonio, just represents a unfulfilled when it was built. You know, it was like in hopes that a NFL team would come here, and it's, what, 30 years later, we have UFL Brahmas in there. You know, so you know, nothing against the Brahmas. I know they're not off to a great start, but you know, just like we'll always think of what could. And you know, the NCAA was right to say it's to be upgraded because you know it was a great event. It was full, you know, 60,000 people for all 3 games. But you know, you could just tell the old building. There's empty outs everywhere where payphones used to be. Like you know, it just needs a update. And I'm glad that Marvel is including like a facelift for the Alamo Dome.
That's fantastic. We got Matt Lerma here with us. He has a hard out. He has to get to work, so we're going to keep him just for 2 more minutes. Real fast, because the tournament's over, all the mock drafts got released this morning, right? All the mock drafts. Spurs, just 6 games to go in the season. We're looking forward to who the Spurs are going to pick at number 8, potentially. You know, Spurs have a 26% chance of being in the top 4. Right now, if all things held to form, they'd be picking at number 8. Matt, I'm going to get your impression on one player today. Bleacher Report's mock draft today has at number 8 the Spurs going. I always get the name confused. Is it Con Kneppel from Duke, the small forward from them? Blue Devil. Would you be excited about that pick?
Well, all right. So Con is just a chill guy. Like his teammates all that he had like the worst personal style, you know, and I think that like he would just like a chill guy. Like we asked him like, why do your teammates like you have bad style? It's like just because I don't care. So a lot of people have posted that online, and a lot of people are saying it's Spurs mentality already. So, but as far as a player goes, great player. You know, he's a little bit short. We always talk about how the Spurs are smaller players. I think he's around 6'6".
Yeah.
If he was 2 inches tall, he'd be a great wing. But you know, the Spurs have taken 6'6" players before, Murray and stuff like that. So we'll see how it all shakes out. Maybe if he's the best person in the draft, I think we would regret taking him.
At number 15, Bleacher Report has the Spurs taking BYU point guard Igor Denman at number 15. But that is Matt Lerma. Matt, before we let you go, what's your final takeaway from the Final Four from the city of San Antonio? Your experiences out there at the Alamo Dome, your first Final Four.
Yeah, I think that San Antonio is a really good city for these types of events. And I think that everyone should support Project Bull with their full heart, or whatever you want to just get it done so that it can host Final Fours, Super Bowls, All-Star weeks. You know, that's the kind of stuff that we could have in Antonio. And before I go, I just want to say that, you know, having a press really opened my to just how many people are actually working this event. Like, I would say that probably like 300 people in the building just behind the scenes. That's not including like the concession stand, ticket takers, none of that kind of stuff. So, you know, these types of events, people to work, and if we get more of them, I think it'll be really good for this. So, support Project Marvel, and have a good day, guys.
Fantastic, Sam Salinas. That's Matt Lerma, by the way. Thank you so much. Congratulations, and great work all weekend long, man. All tournament long. Matt Lerma, thanks for being part of our network, man.
Thank you.
Sam Salinas coming out to us on our chat powered by MCS General Contracting saying, oh, speaking of Project Marvel, great article written by Matt Lerma on it. Good job, Lerma. That's from Sam Salinas. Fantastic, Joe. Fantastic. But last night, come on, you have to admit, that was a blown game, man. The Cougars blew that game. They wet the bed down the stretch. They had no offensive game whatsoever. They couldn't drive in. They weren't drawing fouls. It was just difficult to watch a team that was so good defensively not be able to bring the ball up the court effectively at all and waste 14, 15, 20 seconds of time before they got a play going. And Florida's defense was too good to get a good look the first time you're making an attempt, Joe.
Yeah, it was just poor offensive execution. It was really by both teams at the end of the day. They were forcing shots, poor shot selection. I mean, it was just not a good offensive, let's say, uh, I guess, presence that they had out there. Um, and you could see that the defense was the star of the show. Both teams played, I think, great defense against one another. The scheme that Florida had to combat the Houston Cougars defense was great. I saw that they took away a lot of the passing lanes inside, forced them to kind of take ill-advised jump shooters, 3-point shots. They just chunking them up there. It was hard for them to get anything going inside the paint, and they did break away here and there, and they had some great plays, but it wasn't consistent enough. Houston just seemed to kind of run out of gas at the end and didn't do enough to win this game. You could tell that Florida wanted it more. They came with, their defensive intensity at the end, just doubled down and made better shots. Their shots went in. The Houston Cougars shots did not. And then to end your season on a botched play, it's just heartbreaking. And you could even see the coaches just watching, like, what are you doing, man? Like, take the shot. It's like they couldn't believe what they saw. But that's what happens when you have these college kids out there. Sometimes they break under pressure. And I think that's what we saw. Kid just broke under pressure, made a boneheaded play, and that was it.
Can we talk about the fact that this was a better brand of basketball compared to the NBA?
I think when you're looking at it as far as both teams and putting the effort in, yeah, I could see what you're saying.
Well, I mean, the talent level isn't there, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
the effort is.
the effort's there, the fandom is there, the officiating is there.
I guess
They call travels, they call
Yeah.
travels, they call holds. They were not falling for flops very often. I mean, there were a couple of questionable plays. There was the Florida player who kind of pretended like he got manhandled, but he
Yeah.
barely got touched on a drive in the basket. But for the most part, it was a well officiated game. For the most part, it was good basketball. For the most part, this basically shows to me that college basketball is a superior product to the NBA right now. Now, the problem with this game, though, was that neither team could shoot a three, right?
Yeah.
This was a bunch of mid-range teams, two mid-range teams. That's why it was unsexy. If you had seen Auburn take on Duke, they would have let it fly. Auburn's known for their offense. I mean, they scored 120 points the other game. Duke, with three players that are going to be going in the draft in the top 10, they run up and down the court. They gallop up and down the court. But what you saw with both of those games, you saw Auburn lose a double-digit lead to Florida. Florida advancing to the finals, right?
Yeah.
You saw Houston steal a game in the Final Four as well when they were down by big points. Turn back around. They play each other. Houston up by 12. Florida comes back to win. It shows that they played to the very last minute of the game. And it's so bizarre that all the games in the Final Four ended the same way. Team up by double digits, lose. Up double digits, lose. Up double digits, lose.
I think it's hard to sustain a lead. That's the problem, is that you work so hard to, get the lead, then to go ahead and make the right decisions and continue to do that, you kind of run out of gas, and the pressure is on the team that has the lead, and the team that's trying to make a comeback, they play a little bit more loose. They don't have all that pressure on them near the end of the game. The Houston Cougars start making mistakes. Florida just like I said, just even keel, playing loose, and then boom, they just do enough to win. I mean, that's the way it is. And we got a $1.99 incoming super chat from Jason Garcia, who says, "Grito for the Cougars."
Now, here's the thing. People reached out and said, hold up, that's a $5 grito. So what are we going to do, Joe? What are we going to do?
I'm going to give it to him because I know Jason. Jason's good people.
All
We're
right.
going to do the grito.
Por presumir a mis amigos les conté que en el amor.
Pouring one out for the Houston Cougars on our YouTube stream. Our chat line powered by MCS. Tony Arnella says, Jason is cheap. Now, people are giving me crap about me saying that I thought that this game was more entertaining and is a better product than the NBA. Was it a sloppy game, as people are saying? Yes, Sam Salinas saying sloppy game. Tony and all saying bad coaching. Should have gone for the 2 to tie the game, right? You didn't need a 3-pointer. All you needed was a 2 to send it to overtime. All of that is correct. But what I am saying is that it resembles basketball, man. It resembles the game that I love. I love the NFL. I love the NBA and all of that stuff. But for some reason, just cannot watch the NBA seriously unless it's my Spurs. Right? Back in the day, Joe, Sacramento against the Lakers, gotta watch it, right? Suns against the Knicks, gotta watch it. Knicks against Pacers, gotta watch it. Back in the day, it was must-see TV. Right now, dude, if it's 2 other teams playing, chances are I'm not gonna watch it, man. Unless there's something special going on, like Doncic going back to Dallas or something to that effect, right? It's just bad basketball. Yesterday's game was sloppy basketball, but it wasn't bad basketball. It was legit basketball back in the day. Just like back in the day, man. That's what we saw.
What did you say, Mike? It's a bunch of Sohans.
The Houston Cougars were 5 Sohans running up and down the court, man.
I was still here.
They played good defense. They hustled. They did all the little things, but they couldn't do anything offensively. They had no ability to drive to the bucket. They had no ability to guard anybody down low. How Houston and Florida made their way to the national championship game, I'll never understand. Duke is better than both of those teams. Auburn is better than both of those teams, and Duke and Auburn both lost to those teams. It's one of those things where if Duke had played Houston 10 times, Duke would have won that game 8 times. They lost, right? If Auburn had played Florida 10 times, Auburn would have won 8 times, but they lost. That's just the way that I feel about it.
We got a $5 incoming super chat from the Drew Show. Thanks, Drew. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, he says you couldn't have scripted a better movie game. Houston is a commuter school. Alumni is weak, and I think I'd have a semester credits there in the 90s. It is kind of a commuter school. I mean, that's a very good way of putting it. I mean, Houston is a commuter school, no different than UTSA is a commuter school. Now UTSA is not as big of a commuter school as it was back in the day when I graduated from there. Back in the day, 99% of us lived off campus, right? We all lived with mom and dad, and then we went to UTSA. We call SAC San Antonio High. Really, San Antonio High is UTSA. Okay, SAC is San Antonio Junior High. Or what did Fernandez call? It was Palo Alto that he went after, right?
Oh, he said it wasn't as it was poor or something like that.
Yeah, he was like, "You're gonna come after me saying that I'm not smart when you went to Palo Alto?" That was funny. Joe, I'm looking at my teeth right now. Chica, who's a dental hygienist, gave me a tray to like whiten my teeth. I can see it, Joe.
Wow.
Chica taking care of my teeth. Look at this.
She needs to send some of that this way, dude. I need to do that to mine.
Okay. So Chica was laughing at me because she only works Tuesday through Friday. So I'm doing the show yesterday and she's walking around and she's hearing some of the stories that I tell.
The tall tale.
And she doesn't believe them. She thinks that my tall tales are bullcrap. She heard me talk about the story about how a couple of Spurs came in, a couple of NBA players came in to Racquetball Fitness, and they wanted to run 5. And they asked if I wanted to run, and I said no. And she goes, Michael, you're like a superhero. She goes, for Halloween, I'm going to get you a cape and an outfit with an E in there. It's called the Embellisher, is what she says.
Sure.
And I started laughing because I was like, babe, if I was lying, I'd say that I ran the game with them and I scored 8 points. But no, the line was, they asked and I said, nah, man, I don't want to. Okay, that's not embellishing. I told the story this weekend about how I was at McDonald's when I was growing up and that McDonald's got robbed at gunpoint and I was in the building and they had guns on all of us. Jeez. That happened back when I was in high school. She does not believe me, Joe.
What was the other tall tale? You got somebody fired, a kid fired at the Pizza Hut?
Pizza Hut? Oh, my God, dude. Now, that one is one that my girlfriend does believe that I did, right? All of these are true, by the way. All of these are true. Can I tell you a tall tale? It's Something happened this weekend. I was put up against a police car this weekend. Put up against a police car
This weekend?
this past weekend.
Oh God.
Chica picks me up from the airport because I went to California to go visit my family. And we had a family emergency out there. She picks me up. Things got better over there, so I came back home and was in Conroe. Get picked up from the Houston airport. My girlfriend's like all dressed up, right? She picks me up and she looks cute, dude. She looks amazing. And I was like, you know what? It doesn't seem like you came to pick me up to like go back to the house. Like you want to go do something. And she's like, yeah, let's go to the Galleria. I was like, okay, cool. So we went to the Galleria and we went shopping, bought shoes and all that stuff, right? Great. Fun time. We went to Cheesecake Factory, had dinner there, and made our way back home. About a mile from the house, I make a turn and I forgot to use my signal. Right? Simply put, right? Signals was done incorrectly.
Yeah.
Get pulled over, and I'm looking over at her. And I'm like, "Babe, am I getting pulled over?" It's night, about 8 or 9 o'clock.
Pulled over.
I'm getting pulled over. And she goes, well, why aren't you pulling over? And I said, well, there's nowhere for the cop to go. Let me just drive half a mile. I'll pull into a shopping center, give the guy some breathing room so he's not up against the side of the road, right? So I pull into the shopping center and he gets his car and he puts it like a T behind mine so I couldn't drive away. And I'm like, well, this is pretty freaking dramatic. What the hell's going on? So again, we are in East Texas, right? So this guy comes out and he goes, license, please. All right, cool. So I get my license and he goes, get out of the car. I was like, okay, now I've been asked to get out of the car before.
Maybe you were too ethnic, man.
No big deal. No big deal. So I get by and he walks me over to this car and he goes, now typically I'm a dick towards cops sometimes, but I had done nothing wrong other than I don't know why he pulled me over. So I'm like, it's not like I'm drunk. I hadn't been drinking that night. So I'm not scared of anything because it's not like one of those situations where like, oh my God, I had 3 beers. I'm going to blow a .08 and I'm screwed. I was fine. I had nothing. We had just got, dude, I would have blown positive for cheesecake. Okay. So I had 1 drink the entire day and that was hours before. So I was not really worried about that. So he goes, you use your blinker incorrectly. I'm like, okay. He goes, hands on the car. And I'm like, what the fuck? And at this point, Chica is pissed.
Yeah.
And I'm there going, it's going to be fine. I got nothing on me, whatever. And he takes his flashlight. He puts it in my eyes. And he goes, are you drunk, sir? And I'm like, no. Have you been drinking? No. He checks my eyes and goes, well, your eyes are red. I said, well, I have dry eye, man. You want to see my drops? They're literally on the console. I got dry eye. And then all of a sudden, he goes, go back to your car. All right, cool. So I make my way back to the car. And at this point, Chico's like, I would have told him, yada, yada, yada. I was like, typically I would have too, but I didn't think it was going to escalate like that. Right? Comes back and he goes, this was your warning. And he like literally chunked my driver's license back. I mean, I caught it, but it wasn't like, sorry, sir, or whatever. It was like, this was your warning. I'm like, dude, calm the F down. You wanted to get me for DUI. You knew I was going to blow a 0 on it based on a conversation. And he goes, he's trying to catch me in a lie. I'm like, what for a blinker? I know you're trying to get that DUI catch for the day. I know you got your quota. But at the end of the day, I have nothing. I even told him, I said, I'm going to blow nothing into that thing. So, okay, so I didn't use my blinker correctly. All right, my bad. Give me the ticket, right? So anyway, Chica was upset that I didn't talk smack to the cop. I've done it in the past, though. But yeah, so it reminded me, Joe, of a tall tale.
Look at this as the comment of the day so far. Mike finally realizing he's Mexican.
I'm like that girl in Desperate Housewives. I'm Mexican?
Yep.
Okay. Tall tale time, Joe.
Oh, no.
I'm going to fast forward this tall tale. A cop pulled me over for 7 tickets. puts me in the back of a police car. I was 20 years old. Sean Quintero, who was at your birthday party, Joe, it happened at his house. So I have proof here. Cop says that he was trying to pull me over for like 2 miles, and I didn't realize it because I had the radio on too loud, and it was daylight, so I didn't see any sirens. Long story short, I took him to court, and I ended up winning all 7 tickets. That weekend, I have a press pass, like Matt Lerma, Alamo Dome. I had a press pass to the Spurs game because I was working for KSAT 12. Guess who was working security there at the Alamo Dome in front of the locker room? That cop.
No.
That cop who I beat 7 tickets on. When I show up and I'm trying to do post-game interviews and I'm on deadline, guess who prevented me from going to the locker room?
Cop.
That cop. Guess who got me in the locker room and yelled at that cop on my behalf?
Greg Simmons.
Greg Popovich.
Oh.
So I always talk smack sometimes to Greg Popovich, but I got reminded of the time that Greg Popovich stood up for me, because I remember one time that whole thing happened and I said, Pop, I'm on deadline. He's not letting me in. And Pop lost his mind. Pop got pissed off at that cop, but he got pissed off because for me, not against me, for me. So props to Pop for back in the day, 1998, letting me in the locker room. True story. But I tell that story to my girlfriend. Chica says, you're the embellisher. Yeah, you have an E on your shirt with a cape on. You're the embellisher. Fantastic.
I just like the fact that they're saying they almost sent your ass to Guantanamo Bay. Oh, shit.
Yeah, Mike realized that he used to live by Eagle Park Mall as a kid.
That's like the cop. You were too ethnic for the cop, man. He almost took your ass to Guantanamo Bay. Call
Yeah,
that.
saying, bro, Coach Pop had your back in the day. You want him out ASAP, bro. That was a long time ago, man. It was so long ago. I forgot that Pop did that, but he did do that a long time ago. I may have mentioned that on Sports Star back in the day. But Pop was like ruthless back in the day when he first took over as coach. He was like in charge of everything. Like, I mean, I'm sure he was in charge of like not only security, but he was probably in charge of like the food and drinks that were out there, man. Everything went through Pop. Everything did.
But look at this. This is one thing that we kind of brought up, and I want to show the picture of this thing. It's hideous, man. This is the Alamo Dome as it's currently constructed. And this is a post that's put up on the X by Chris Humner. It says the Alamo Dome will host its 5th national title game in 28 years. And that was tonight. That was the previous night. But they're saying, but what's the future of the nearly 33-year-old building? Those in San Antonio say an overhaul is needed for future Final Fours and any NFL aspirations. I think the NFL aspirations are pretty much out the door at this point. But if they want to go ahead and get, let's say, a big event again, like a Final Four, Women's Final Four, or anything else, it does need some upgrades, and hopefully, like you said, with the Project Marvel, getting the Alamo Dome a facelift, kind of modernizing it a little bit more, getting the really, I'd say, up to the date technology in there is what the facility is really needing. It needs a facelift. It needs to be modernized so it can compete with today's times and what the needs are as far as the media being able to cover such a venue. I think the Alamo Dome is shown that it's best suited for big events, kind of like the Final Four. It's big enough, to house 68,000 plus people that want to watch a game without a problem. And the city's great at hosting these events. It's just the facility that's a bit dated. That's it.
Yeah. And that's the weird thing is that for the failure that the Alamo Dome was, I think Matt Lerma phrased it correctly when he says, you look at that building and it's unfulfilled promises. It's a great way of putting it when it comes to the Alamo Dome.
Yeah.
The Alamo Dome was designed. Henry Cisneros wanted that visionary to come in and say the NFL will come here. And we almost had an NFL team here with the Saints back in the early 2000s. But that being said, the Alamo Dome's profitable. So for those who are like, let's implode the thing, why? It is a paid-up house. It is profitable. It houses UTSA football. It's going to have Jelly Roll in a couple of weeks, right? And Post
Could have seen him
Malone.
for free. You could have seen him for free on Saturday.
Could have, but I would have had to stand there all for hours at a time to
Oh,
make that happen.
what? Don't lie, Mike. Say it with your chest out. You didn't want to be out there standing around on the ground with who?
With the peasants.
With the peasants.
No,
Let me say
that's
it
sad.
again.
That's sad. I've done it before. In fact, just today I bought. Well, I'm not going to say it in case she's watching it. But we'll talk about that later on next week. But concert tickets for the upcoming for the rest of the year. We have
Don't ruin
different
the
things going
surprise.
on. Yeah, I got me some good seats for a show in the next month or so.
Of course.
No, but I look at it this way, man. The Alamo Dome has the size of the facility that you need, but if you've been down lower level, and here's the thing, for this to be on CBS Sports, for this to be on national TV, you need ESPN, all that stuff. The bowels of the Alamo Dome are ancient. To get video in and out of that place, to have post game interviews and all that stuff, for the media, the big time media to be out there, the bowels of the Alamo Dome are trash. And I know it's been upgraded, but you need to have accessibility for not only for the media, but also for fans. The concourse is okay. I guess it's fine. But when you look at the people who go to the games that are from outside, whether they're from Florida or they're from North Carolina where Duke is, they rave about it because they say, guess what? We didn't have to Uber once this weekend. We flew into San Antonio. We Ubered to downtown. That was the only Uber we needed because we went to the hotel. We went to the Riverwalk. We went to the convention center. We went to the Alamo Dome. We went to the Alamo. We went to River Center Mall, all in walking distance of each other. San Antonio is a charming city for this type of event. And we'll get more as we build it all up because the weather also cooperates more often than not as well. I mean, there's a lot of, you can say, well, why not New York? Why not Chicago? Because guess what? It's March Madness, early April. It's freaking cold still in those places. San Antonio has the weather, but the thing is, the upgrades that we're doing to the airport, big. Upgrades that we're doing to the Alamo Dome, big. What do you know? San Antonio might be inching closer and closer to a metropolitan city.
Yeah. Did you see this comment by Sam Salinas? This is funny. He says the music festival was a total mixed bag. As for locals who were there, SA's finest were on display. And I know what he's talking about. La Raza was there in full effect, bro.
Yeah, we should have told La Raza that it was at Market Square, just to send them in that direction.
And then they had I guess a story put out. I think I saw it on the X somewhere. I don't know who exactly put it. I think it was KSAT. And they said that city council paid $20,000 for VIP tickets, 20 of them, to go and see the men's Final Four.
Wow.
So that's where your tax money's going, man.
Well, Sam Salinas says maybe it's time to start thinking of the NFL in San Antonio. Ask the question, is Jerry Jones' stranglehold on San Antonio and South Texas loosening because the patience has run thin with many fans? Sam, if you were to believe what we hear from Joe Ryan-Nagel, Joe Ryan-Nagel of San Antonio Sports Star, formerly of Ken's Five, good friend of mine, has told me on air and off air that it's not Jerry Jones that prevents the NFL from coming to San Antonio. It is the Holt family. It's the San Antonio Spurs.
And why? Because they want to be the only professional sports team here in town.
They
want all the revenue.
Well, because they know the NFL is bigger than the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that there's only so many ways to get sponsorships in San Antonio, that there's not a lot of deep pockets in San Antonio. And because of that, it makes it difficult for the Spurs to want to share the wealth. I get it. It sucks, but I get it. You would need to have somebody really, really, really intent on coming to San Antonio to make that happen. It might not be the Cowboys that do that, although San Antonio does have excellent ratings for the NFL, excellent ratings for the Cowboys. But right now it's the time to poach, I guess what you're saying, because there's so much apathy towards the Dallas Cowboys. I have never seen in my 48 years of life, and I remember the 1 in 15 days. I remember the Quincy Carter days. I remember all that stuff, right? I have never felt and seen so much apathy from Cowboy fans as they have right now. like the idea that they don't care at this point anymore.
Yeah, and look
So
at
what are you
this.
showing me, Joe?
You talk so much, right? We not just you, but I do too. And we talk so much about San Antonio and what could they afford as far as ticket prices go for an NFL game, right? Because Mike, you notoriously say the city's poor, right? We don't have
Mhm.
enough corporate sponsors and whatnot. So this is a post that was put on the X, and it says every NFL team single game average ticket price. This is an average ticket price, and this was done via SeatGeek. Most expensive ticket price in the NFL, average ticket price is going to be going to the Detroit Lions, $254. The top four, I'm going to go and read them to you. Raiders, 243. The Eagles, 224. And then you have the San Francisco 49ers at $204. Now, if we can be comparable and see, okay, what would ticket prices be if San Antonio did get an NFL team? We'll compare it to our closest neighbor here, which is going to be Jerry World, right? Average ticket price for a Cowboy game is $147. Could San Antonians afford a ticket price comparable to $147? You might give or
Easily.
take $10 or more.
Easily. And the reason why I say that is because there are only 8 or 9 home games in a year, right? So really, just get that number, multiply it by 10. That's season tickets, right? What it doesn't take into consideration is the fact that Jerry World, you go over there, you have to spend $100 on parking, and look at the Saints being one of the lowest, dude. I bought lower level seats to the Saints game for $40. Didn't pay a dime for parking. I just walked it from the French Quarter on over. It's funny because the Spurs have 41 home games in San Antonio, and the prices are very similar to what we just showed there. And guess what? We pack the Frostbank Center every game. So to be able to do that for 8 games in an NFL season for NFL football, when you know it might be a good team, because here's the thing, Joe, it's expensive to go to the movies.
It's about.
And I'm sorry, they're not going to have seats there for La Raza, Joe. There's not going to be $10 seats.
Come on, Mike.
If the NFL comes over here, it is pretty penny, and I'm sorry, La Raza doesn't get to go.
They're not going to have party passes if they built an NFL stadium. Come on, Mike.
Not one damn party pass. This is the NFL.
That's
this is the NFL. This is big baller league. This is tourists go. This is the people who have money go. You're not going to have La Raza there with $6 tickets.
Not $6, but I mean, you'll probably have like a $40 ticket.
No, there won't be
ticket to stand around and look at the big screen. Like they do at Jerry World. Oh,
$150. You want to go in the building? $150. They're gonna price those fools out.
Oh, come on, Mike. The Razas travels well, man. They're gonna find a way to get in, dude.
Yeah, they can go to Bentley's bar and shoot up the place.
McIntyre.
No, the NFL is big baller league, man. You don't have cheap seats over there for a good game for a good team.
So you're gonna turn your nose up at me if I go in there and I spend $500 on 2 tickets, and then I'm wearing was it a bootleg jersey? Oh God!
Jesse A comes out to us on our YouTube stream. Chat line powered by MCS General Contracting saying Mike La Raza gets priced out. Good.
Oh, you'll be sitting next to the Raza there, right next to some of the Raza. You'll be like, who let them in?
Yeah.
You'll be telling Chica, come on, man.
Tony saying take the Via. Ain't nobody taking the Via to an NFL game in San Antonio. Nobody does public transit.
You look at that. Mike, you're right. NFL is actually for the poor. If you can't afford for a World Cup, then that's different. Mexico floods every game. So Raza is not poor. He's got a point.
Hey, by the way, for those of you who are watching right now, hit the like button. Hit the like button right now. Okay, because we need that. We need that algorithm, and share what we've got going on. By the way, let's give me some love first. Usually I ask for love later on, but let's show me some love. 210-508-0369. 210-508-0369 for your financial service needs. Guess what I started up this week, Joe? Auto insurance, Joe. Allstate, Progressive, Nationwide, Liberty Mutual, Safeco, all of them. Guess what? I'm going to be doing that as well.
I
need an
thought you were
auto
gonna have
quote?
your own.
Huh?
Thought you were gonna have your own, like the General or something like that, or was it A1 Auto Max or Fred Loya? You're gonna
Oh
call
no, it's
yours.
just going to be Michael Jimenez Insurance
Oh, I thought
Services.
you were gonna be called. Yours was gonna be the Coconut.
No, man. I have to come up with $1 million of premium before I can give myself a name,
Oh God,
which isn't much. Basically, that's 300 clients.
there you go.
Is basically all that I need. 210-508-0369. Stock market is up today for the first time in about 5 business days. No reason other than the fact that people are tired of the market going down. I bought some stock the last few days, and I figured why not put some money in my kid's college account. So I started doing that. I do investments, annuities, 401k rollovers, IRAs. And guess what? You can be my client even if you already have that product. What that basically means is, let's say you have Progressive Insurance, you have Allstate, you have Nationwide, but you don't have an agent or an agent you care about. You can just say, hey, Michael, I'm already a client. Take over my stuff. Be more than happy to do that too. 210-508-0369. 210-508-0369. By the way, congratulations are in order, Joe.
Yeah.
Congratulations are in order to Pierce. Pierce is our winner of the Area 210 podcast March Madness Tournament Bracket Challenge. Again, we can't say March Madness. It's the bracket challenge that we have through ESPN. We had 6 people who predicted Florida winning it. Pierce won with 1,680 points. FNG came in second with 1,590. And again, we're going to get out. So for those of you who were in the top 2 or 3, reach out to us. We'll get you some prizes when it comes to it all. I've asked Pierce reached out to me on Twitter. I said, DM me your details and we'll get you going.
You know
Fred
what?
Loya Insurance. What's this Fred Loya Insurance?
Mikey Menace Insurance, the not Fred Loya Insurance.
I got to think of a good name.
Yeah, we got to think of a good name for your auto insurance, but we're gonna talk about this because this is important. It's the future of illegal streaming. We're
Okay,
talking
go ahead.
about poor and this and that. DAZN actually made some news because they dealt a heavy blow to illegal boxing streams after a court ruling, and basically DAZN and others they won this in this year, and this was a story I saw on April the 7th here. But it is a problem. Illegal streaming is a problem with the advent of like Stream East and all these other legal streaming sites that keep getting shut down constantly, but still have a resurgence because they can't basically shut down every freaking server that's around the world. They're global. So if they shut down one, another one will pop up in 30 minutes or so, even if it gets shut down by Homeland or whoever. It doesn't matter. So what happened here is that they're forcing your ISP, your internet service provider, to start blocking these URLs, like Stream East and whatnot. So you're not going to be able to access them anymore. This is going to be something that's going to be done at the cost of like your AT&Ts, your Google Fiber, Verizon Fios, or whatever, whoever you have. This is what's going to happen. So they're going to make it harder and harder for everyone to go ahead and do the illegal streaming. And that's going to get tough for people, because they're going to have to look for other sites and whatnot, but they're getting more crafty about it too. They're wanting to crack down and look at everybody's, like your IP address. And that's why everybody's having to go ahead and kind of mask their IPs, and all this and that. When you're going to do like watching a legal stream on a Fire Stick or any type of illegal device that's been jailbroken or whatnot, even like the IPTV, that's been an issue too, because they have these illegal IPTVs that are pulling up, and basically it's kind of like online, an online TV service, much like, Fubo, things of that nature, but these are illegal, and people are paying like $20-something a month to look at the pay-per-views and all the movies and all these things for free, basically not free, but it's like $20, something like that. But all these things are starting to look like they're going to start coming to an end here soon. So people are going to have to get a little bit more crafty about how they're going to watch, pay-per-view events. And here's the thing, though.
Can I give a recommendation?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just pay for it, man.
Well, this is the thing that I was thinking of. At the end of the day, the zone, the boxing in general, right? The zone and all these other big names, that go ahead and stream boxing. The Amazon Prime does it as well. Even like mixed martial arts, UFC, MMA, all these things, if they want people to stop with the illegal streams, make it more affordable. Don't charge people $90 to watch something. If they brought the price down to like $24, $25, people are going to pay for that. And they would just cut out all this nonsense with the illegal streaming. They would make it more affordable. Same thing when it comes to watching NFL games, coming to watch any type of sporting event. If they made it more affordable for the consumer at the end of the day, they wouldn't have to go ahead and have all go to these illegal streaming sites to watch sporting events, period. But at the at the end of the day, it boils down to the almighty dollar and the
Right.
greed of corporate America. And unfortunately, that's
Or
the
is
world
it the
we live in.
greed of corporate America, or is it the greed of people who don't want to pay for stuff that doesn't belong to them? I mean, I look at it and go make some money, dude. I mean, it's broadcasted. It wasn't created for free. Go pay for it. It's. I have no sympathy or empathy towards it all, Joe. I'm like, then don't watch.
What are you gonna
Just
say?
don't watch.
No. Go make more money.
Go make more money. You want to make some more money? Go make some more. Why am I doing this auto insurance side hustle back over here? To add more revenue to what I do. So that I can go on more vacations and I can go to more concerts.
Yeah,
That's
but
what I'm doing.
at the end of the day, it's just going to get a little bit more difficult as you move further and further along here to go ahead and stream things illegally. That's what they're doing. They're wanting to crack down and make it harder. There's always going to be somebody's going to find a loophole, and it's still going to be out there. But
The loophole is to watch it on TikTok.
I mean, you can watch it on TikTok, social media, anywhere. There's going to be somebody streaming it for free. But if you don't want to have the illegal streamings gone rampant, lower the price, man. That's all you got to do.
No,
Make
baby.
it easy for it. Make it easy
don't
for you
know.
to watch.
You don't need that raza to watch it, dude. You don't. You mark it up to a price that most people will pay, and you get the most amount of dollars. There's a reason why.
$100,
There's a reason why Whataburger costs $3.99 and not $1.99. They could sell more than $1.99, but enough people buy it at $3.99 to make it worthwhile for
Look at
Whataburger.
what they're doing, like with Netflix, for example. They're trying to show that, Paul and Tyson fight. That was a debacle. People are already paying almost $30 for Netflix. Cool. All right. You're going to show it, but do a better job. Don't let it be all
Agreed.
jittery and jumpy and, frozen and all that. Having nothing but technical difficulties. Amazon Prime's wanting to jump into the sports venue. So is Peacock. So is Paramount Plus. Everybody, anytime you're, let's say, buying a subscription to a streaming service, even now, they're always having some type of sporting event, coupled along with it. It's big business, but not everybody can stream these events equally without all the technical faux pas and hiccups. So if you're going to charge me an X amount of money per month, I mean, at the end of the day, the consumer gets tired of having to go to multiple platforms to watch something. Somebody needs to come up with a better plan where if all you want to watch is sports, just have a streaming sports channel where you can go watch everything in one offering. You pay one price per month. I'm done with it. I don't have to get Fubo. I don't have to get Paramount Plus. I don't have to go get Peacock. I don't have to do all this other stuff. I just want one platform, man. That's all I want.
That used to be called cable TV.
No, but cable TV is too expensive. Remember, cord cutters.
Well,
Sick.
I mean, I look at it this way. I have Fubo, right?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Fubo. Full disclosure, I own stock in Fubo. I'm hoping that it does really well. But the fact of the matter is that there's not one perfect streaming service because I had YouTube TV. Guess what? I couldn't get on YouTube TV. I couldn't get Spurs games, right? Because they did not have an agreement with Bally's / FanDuel. So I dumped them. I dumped YouTube TV to go to Fubo because with Fubo I could watch Spurs games. Guess what I can't watch on Fubo? Games on TNT.
Well, if you have Max, you can.
Well, I mean, but see, but that's adding another streaming service. You
Yeah, I
know,
don't pay for Max though, but it's included. It's been included with my AT&T
With-
bill for
with
years.
the AT&T bill. Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably have Max now that I think about it because I have AT&T.
You can watch
Uh,
TNT.
I splintered off when I got with the divorce and all that. It was her account. I had to get my own account. I don't know if I have that, so I got to figure that out. But we're reaching a point right now where there's just too many streaming services you got to just cut at some point. I had them all at some point.
Yeah.
I got rid of Paramount. I got rid of Peacock. The Olympics were over. I got rid of Peacock. Yellowstone was over. I got rid of, and 1887 were over, or whatever that show was. I got rid of Paramount.
1923.
1923. I didn't really get into that one. Max was good. Disney sucked, dude. I hated Disney.
There ain't nothing to watch there.
So I got rid of Disney because I'm not into the whole Star Wars stuff. So really, I keep Netflix just based out of because it's comfort food. Netflix sucks. Let's call it what it is. It sucks as a streaming service. The two that I like the most, Hulu by far is number one, and I would say Amazon Prime is two.
Look at that. We got an incoming $5 super chat from the Drew Show. Thanks again, Drew. Appreciate the support.
Says after that speech by Mike, I may put a bounty on anybody who has a photo of Mike watching Stream East like LeBron. I don't even know what Stream East is.
Oh, come on, Mike.
What is it?
Oh, my mess, bro.
What is Stream East?
I just told you what it was. It's an illegal streaming site where everybody watches any type of sporting event you want to watch.
Is this the dark web?
Oh, God. It's not the dark web. They're illegal streaming.
Just go to a bar, Joe. I mean, I don't understand the whole thing about it all. You know, just pay for it. Was everybody got to be all ghetto about it? Just pay for
Samson,
it.
this is if you split it off after AT&T sold off most of its Time Warner property, then you don't have Max, Mike. I have Max because I stayed with AT&T even after they sold off that, their property there. It's still, we're grandfathered in, so we still have Max for free, and I'm gonna keep on riding that until it runs dry.
Very nice, very nice. Let's give some love to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's Five, because, by the way, Joe, while we're showing him some love, there's a video that he has of Hakeem Olajuwon with Victor Wembanyama. Let's talk about that on the other side, but let's give some love to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs.
Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
More than 7,000 subscribers on YouTube. They can't be wrong. I'm going to be on the show tomorrow for Locked On Spurs. We'll be talking about whether this was a successful season or not for the Spurs. Spurs last 6 games to go. But we have lots of content from Jeff Garcia at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter and Threads. If you can scroll down, there's video of him being Victor Wembanyama speaking courtside with Hakeem Olajuwon. And Jeff has a caption there that says, "Imagine Dream teaching Wemby how to do the Dream Shake." Joe, we talked about this a little bit a while back. Wemby does not have a signature move. Duncan had a signature move. What was that? Bank shot. Money. Kareem had the hook. David Robinson had that 15-foot shot from the elbow. The big greats have a shot that is unblockable. That is something that you do because when all else fails, you just do that shot. Yeah. It's your go-to shot, your bread and butter shot. You do it 4 to 6 times a game. The Dream Shake was unstoppable. Dirk Nowitzki's 1-footer, fadeaway, unstoppable. Robinson going straight up as quickly as he did for that 15-footer. Unstoppable.
Yeah, no one.
Wemby
Robinson
needs
had that spin move. He would put his back to the basket and just push you back, push you back, push you back, and then do that explosive spin move. And he was just, you're gone. He was gone from you. Separation, going up, slam dunk.
right.
That was a signature move.
He needs something, Joe. And what I'm frustrated about with the Spurs right now and with Victor Wembanyama is them allowing him to shoot more 3-point attempts than 2-point attempts. Mother effer is 7-3, 7-4. Get your ass down low.
Look at what Hanover Fist says. He goes, interesting that France coach broke that Wemby got surgery for the clot and Spurs quiet about it. Spurs don't say anything. That's just the nature of the way the front office operates. And everybody's seen that. And they say, well, how do things get leaked and how do things happen? It's not coming from the Spurs per se. It's coming from other parties that, like example, French coach probably didn't know he shouldn't have said that, but he did. Wemby had to have surgery to go ahead and get the clot removed and I guess probably heal faster. Maybe there was some type of, timeline there. He wanted to go ahead and play for France this summer. He had to have the surgery in order to go ahead and get that done. So that's why I think he had the surgery.
Joe, did you know that we are 5 weeks away from the NBA draft lottery?
5 weeks away, man.
That's going to be Monday, May 12th.
We still got time to plan.
So we have 34 days. Spurs back in action tonight. Only 4 games left on the season. Spurs are 32-46. Taking on the Clippers tonight in LA. Clippers are by 12.5 points. It is a 9:30 tip-off. The games that Spurs fans need to be aware of today. Bulls at Cavaliers. That's a big game because the Spurs need the Bulls to somehow pull that off. The Bulls have won 7 of 10 games. They're going into Cleveland. Cleveland, maybe at this point right now, could be chillaxing a little bit. Hopefully not going full force because they already have a 4-game lead over Boston with 4 games to go for the number 1 spot in the East. So maybe they start resting their players a little bit, right? Chicago goes in there, gets that win, would be big for the Spurs because Atlanta plays Orlando tonight. Again, the Spurs have the number 1 pick from the Atlanta Hawks unprotected. Right now, Atlanta is the 7 seed going, take that back. They're the 8 seed going into the play-in tournament right now. They lose this game. Chicago wins their game. They fall to number 9, which puts the Spurs in position to possibly get a second lottery pick. Right now, Spurs are sitting at number 8 going into the lottery. 26% chance of being in the top 4, 6% chance of being number 1 overall. If that Atlanta pick falls to that 10 or 11 range, which is what happens, Spurs pick goes from 16, 15 territory to a 10, 11, 12 territory. If they start losing these games, Spurs would then have a 33% chance of being in the top 4 rather. So lots of things that we're looking at. I'm looking more at those games than tonight's game against the Clippers. Tonight's game does not mean anything. Again, no Wemby, no De'Aaron Fox, but we had a triple-double recently by Stephon Castle, who basically wrapped up the Rookie of the Year award. So we know that he'll be getting that award pretty soon.
His own words. He said that himself. He says, I've already wrapped it up. That's in the bag.
Vince Carter.
Yeah, it's in the bag. The Spurs, they have 2 late games here that are coming up. One today against the Clippers at 9:30, and then they have another one tomorrow against the Warriors at 9 o'clock tip. Then they come back and they're going to face they're still on the road, but they're going to go and face the Suns. Again, another late tip at 9. Then they finally come back home to end the season this Sunday at 2:30 against the Raptors. Tickets for this game, by the way, and there's still some left, can be had for as little as $13. I'm actually thinking, I don't know if I'm going to wind up going to the game, but I want to do something to end the season and kind of have everybody give us, a feedback, some input on how they thought the season went. What are the expectations for the upcoming season? What they want the Spurs to do, here when, the summertime here when they have free agency and all that it's going to be rampant. And that's going to be something that I want to kind of get together with Matt Lerma on, maybe get Chris Leha, some of the other Nestials there and kind of talk, and just end the season, just kind of having a discussion. Maybe you could join us for a little bit if you want.
Yeah, the end of the year, it's one of those things. We're not going to see the Spurs going on for another what 5 6 months or so. So we're doing it just out of the love of the team, right? That's the only reason why we're doing it. But we have reasons to be celebrated as Spurs fans. As we mentioned, in 5 weeks we have a the draft lottery. We're then going to have predictions as to how things are going to go when it comes to the mocks and things like that. The draft's going to be in June. Back-to-back rookie of the years. What if the Spurs get a third rookie of the year along the way? What if the Spurs get Cooper Flag? What if the Spurs get Knipple? What if the Spurs get anybody that could really help this team? That guy, that center from Duke, Asa Newell from Georgia. What if the Spurs go off and get Trey Johnson from UT? What if we get one of these guys out there that would be really beneficial? Because one thing that I see about this draft, Joe, about the NBA draft right now, I can see every single one of these players helping this team. And as much crap as we give Brian Wright, the fact of the matter is that you look at it, Cooper Flag, of course he could help this team. Dylan Harper, of course he can help this team. Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe, Maluach, Trey Johnson, Con Kneppel, Asa Newell, Derek Queen, Jeremiah Fears. Every single one of these guys, Joe, Liam McNeely, every single one of these guys can help this team in some way because we have needs all over the place. Why could we get why would Bailey or Edgecombe or Harper? Because we need people who are playmakers and they make plays. Cooper Flag is an all-world kind of guy. We need defensive presence. So we got Common from the center from Duke down low. I'd be happy with that. Con Kneppel. Okay, we need playmakers. We need somebody who's going to play the 3 or 4 and be able to do different things, to play the 2 or 3. Asa Newell, who could knock down threes, plays good defense, and is a baller at Georgia. We can use him down low to possibly replace Sohan. Sohan's in a contract year.
You want to see something?
Maybe let him walk because you have Asa Newell.
You want me to show something on screen right here? ESPN early this morning just released their 2025 NBA mock draft first round picks after the March Madness is already finished. This was done by Jonathan Giovanni and Jeremy Wu. I'll go ahead and show that on screen. This is directly from ESPN's own website. And they have number 1, Utah Jazz picking no secret here, Mike. Cooper Flag. And look at number 2, we have the Washington Wizards selecting Dylan Harper. Number 3, the Charlotte Hornets, Arius Ace Bailey out of Rutgers. And then you have at number 4, the Pelicans selecting VJ Edgecombe out of Baylor. The 76ers, you have Trey Johnson being selected out of Texas there. Brooklyn Nets at number 6, Jeremiah Fears from, out of Oklahoma. Toronto Raptors, Kamen Malulak or whatever, out of Duke, center out of Duke. At number 8, the San Antonio Spurs. Who do they have them selecting?
Con Kneppel.
There's your boy. Out of Duke.
Give me guys from Duke. What does he say? Very dependable at his role at Duke, giving the Blue Devils elite efficiency. Oh, I love that word, Joe. Efficiency. Spacing. Better playmaker and defender than some expected in the preseason. Not especially athletic by NBA standards, but he helped himself in a big way, reinforcing how much substance there is to his game. I like him.
Yeah, so we're going to round out the top 10 here. Number 9, you have Portland Trailblazers picking, I don't even know how to say this guy's name. Kasparis. Yeah.
Who they got the Spurs at 16?
Okay, 10, they have the Houston Rockets by way of Phoenix getting Colin Murray Boyles. And let's see, at number 16, let's see what they have the Spurs getting. Over there at number 15
right there.
Yeah, number 15 via Atlanta. It's going to be Jean Beringer, center.
From France.
Yeah. And look at what they say.
That's a very Spursy pick.
Let's see what they say about him. It says Beringer continues to draw many NBA executives many NBA executives every time he steps out on the floor. He has been highly impactful for Cedevita, leading the Adriatic League in block percentage. His tremendous physical tools combined with his ability to cover ground on the perimeter, switch onto small players, and protect the rim at 18-year-olds. He says, give him significant upside, especially because he has been playing basketball for only 3 years. And they say the Spurs could be intrigued with.
He's only been playing basketball for 3 years. Pass.
Well, look at what they say. The Spurs could be
Pass.
intrigued. This would be a very Spursy pick with adding another long arm shot blocking French big man to their to the rotation. You know what this means, Mike? If they were to pick him, he'd do a stash. Draft and stash.
Who's below that the Spurs could potentially get?
Let's see. If it's another big, I mean,
give me some other names.
Let's see what they have. There's really nobody.
Asa Newell. Okay, if they go after that dude and not Asa, who's ready to go now, I'd be pissed.
And look at how far
they describe him. Solidified himself as a first-round talent at Georgia thanks to his knack for playing hard, crashing the glass, and finishing plays in a large role. Right?
You know what?
Still work in progress, need to develop more consistency. He's a 29% three-point shooter and defender to carve out an NBA role. He's caught between a 4 and 5 positionally. His production is motor remain appealing. The guy has a motor.
You know what that means? The Spurs are going to be like, nah, that's not the guy we want. We want the other brother at 15. You know, that's what the Spurs are going to do. They're not going to go after somebody that can actually make the team better, Mike. Come on. Brian Wright can do what Brian Wright does. He's going to go ahead and pick a bad pick. And then what's going to happen? What's his name going to be in 3 or 4 years? Gone.
Well, what should the Spurs do about Jeremy Sochan? Let's talk about that on the other side, because the Sochan is going into a contract season with the Spurs. I'm wearing a Spurs shirt. You're wearing a Spurs cap.
And a jacket.
Very nice. Let's talk about Sochan on the other side. Let's give some love to MCS General Contracting.
MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business. Honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
That Diamond Heart Concrete, man, they do a fantastic job. I've been a client of theirs as well. They do not only residential, they do business, they do government work as well. MCS General Contracting, 210-774-9155, 774-9155 for your Diamond Heart Concrete needs. It doesn't matter if it's a patio, like they did with me. They did a concrete extension to my patio. They did a sidewalk for me as well. They did a sidewalk for Randolph Air Force Base. They do tennis courts, pickleball courts, basketball courts, parking lots, home slabs, swimming pools. Give them a call, 210-774-9155. Joe, I'm looking at an article right now from hoopshype.com. And this is a recent article where they're ranking the top 50 free agents in the NBA for the year 2026. So basically meaning at the end of next season. Number 1, with a player option, Luka Doncic. You know Doncic is going to stay there, right? He's not going to go anywhere else. Number 2, Paolo Banchero, restricted free agent, which means that all Orlando needs to do is match whoever is trying to sign Paolo Banchero. Number 3, Jaren Jackson Jr., unrestricted free agent. He's going to be potentially the defensive player of the year this year. Number 4, Jalen Williams, who's a first-time All-Star with Oklahoma City, restricted free agent at the end of next year. De'Aaron Fox, again, lots of rumors that the Spurs are going to extend him. He's number 5, right? But somewhere on this list here, Joe, at number 46 is a Spurs player, a former first-round draft pick back in 2022 by the name of Jeremy Sochan. Jeremy Sochan, according to HoopsHype, number 47. Jeremy Sochan, the 47th ranked free agent of the 2026 class. It says he's multi-talented swingman with experience playing pretty much every position, including point guard. He has not mastered any of those positions quite yet, but he's versatile on both sides of the floor and is a solid playmaker. About the fact that he averaged 11 points per game this year, 7 rebounds. 2.5 assists, and shot 33% from three. He made $5.5 million this year, and the question becomes, what range is he in as a free agent? He's restricted, which means that all the Spurs have to do is match what he signs elsewhere. That's why I look at a player like Asa Newell, Joe from Georgia, and I think to myself, I mean, isn't he kind of Jeremy Sohan?
Yeah.
You know, isn't he kind of somebody who plays defense, hustles, does all the little things? Are we really going to spend $20, $25 million a year on Jeremy Sohan when Sohan is so limited as to what he can do? He's just a dude. Jesse Average is. What's that?
I like it when you say that. He's just a dude.
He's just a dude. Jesse A reaches out to us and says Brian Wright is going to mess up the draft because he got his apology letters already from the Fox trade.
Did you see this? I just saw this right now. I'm going to go ahead and post this out there. This is something that just came through the wire. And it's a comment by Alex Sarr. I guess in retaliation to the comments of one Stefan Castle.
Mm-hmm.
And look at what he says. I definitely belong in the conversation. Alex Sarr on Rookie of the Year award. What do you think Spurs fans got to say about that?
Well, here's the thing. He does belong in that conversation.
But is he going to win?
No, he's not. And it's because he got off to a slow start. Alex Sarr is, when the season started, it was Jared McCain. It was the players from both players, Zach Edey, Jalen Wells from Memphis. Those were the ones who were considered to be the front runners early on. What ended up happening was much like Wemby did last year to Chet Holmgren. Stefan Castle took that title away in January and ran with it, right? And then when you saw De'Aaron Fox go down with an injury, we all knew that Fox was going to need to have surgery on his hand, right? And we all knew that.
Yeah.
But when they took him out and they put Castle back into the starting lineup, Castle's stats made it so that it was difficult for anybody else to be considered. His points per game, Stefan Castle, is now 14.5. He took over the Rookie of the League year standings at 12.7. Then he got to 13 points per game, then 13.3, then 13.5, then 13.8, then 14, and then 14.5, and now he had a triple-double. Alex Sarr, though, has had himself a fantastic season. Okay, this year, 13 points per game, 6.5 rebounds per game, 2.3 assists. Playing around the same number of minutes as Castle. The thing is that Castle's going to play about 80 games this year, whereas Sarr only played 63. He's going to get to the 65 to qualify. But Sarr, the past few games, 16 points, 4 rebounds. 15 points, 4 rebounds. You know, he had a huge game a while back where he was 19-10, 16-5-2. He's 24-7. He's putting up pretty good numbers, Joe. Alex Sarr's he should be in the conversation, but the fact of the matter is it's a conversation for first team All-NBA rookie, not Rookie of the Year. Castle's going to run away with it. And Castle balling out during the All-Star weekend as well, doing so well in the slam dunk competition, runner-up. You look at him, and he was everything that we wanted him to be for the Spurs. It's just, I look at it, and I think to myself, there's no way to vote for anybody else other than Stefan Castle. He's not going to be unanimous, but it's going to be a runaway.
And the ceiling for Castle is quite high. I'd have to say the ceiling for Castle is a lot higher than one Devin Vassell. If I had to go ahead and let go of somebody, and you told me you'd either have to let go of Castle or Vassell, bye. It's been nice knowing you, man. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's the thing with the Spurs are going to have to, at some juncture, stop with the gentleman's agreement. You know, they hang on to players for too long, way past their prime. At this point, if you're going to have, for example, Jeremy Sohan, who's going to warrant $17 or $18 million a year, let him go. Bye. You know, why are you going to hang on to him? Just because he has blue hair?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on, Mike. At the end of the day, I mean, is he worth 17 or 18 mil?
He's not. You can replace. Well, I mean, he is in the sense that that's his value in the NBA. So I'm not saying that Sohan's not going to get the bag. He's going to go from 5 million a year to about 17, 18 million a year. The question is he valuable to the Spurs for that price point? Because the Spurs have to re-sign Wemby to a max deal at some point. Maybe it's a super max if he qualifies for it. They have to sign De'Aaron Fox to an extension. Got to figure out what to do with other players like Harrison Barnes. Castle, they need to re-sign. The point is that Sohan is going to want to have some security. The security of having a 4-year deal after this one. And if the Spurs are going to offer him 2 years, he's not going to want that. But at 4 years, at his price point, he is worth 15 to 20 million in the NBA. But for the Spurs, it's a luxury the Spurs don't have. They need to spend that money elsewhere. They need to surround Wemby with shooters. Sohan going to be gone at the end of next season.
I would think so. And you know what? Spurs fans would not be opposed to it. I mean, why were you going to pay $17 or $18 million for a player who can't shoot the ball? He's no good from beyond the arc. He doesn't have a consistent jump shot. Can't knock down a consistent free throw. Shooting one-handed all the time. I mean, there's a lot to be desired there. And we
$5 super chat coming in from the Drew Show, saying, speaking of starting games, CP3 going for 80. Here's the thing. Drew Show bringing up the fact that CP3 is going for 80 games, Joe. This is a player who you and I, before the season started, said we'd be lucky to get, 60 games? 58 games? Because he always hurt? I mean, CP3 ain't playing like he was 10, 15 years ago. He is a future Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. But the fact that he got 80 games this year makes him valuable to somebody. I don't want him back, though, Joe.
They want us to throw the chanclazo. So I'm going to go ahead and put the chanclazo.
Coming back.
The chanclazo.
Chancla floor. I didn't flip flop.
No, that's not for you. They said they wanted to throw the chanclazo at Brian
okay.
Wright. Yeah, it wasn't for you.
Okay.
I would tell you if it was for you. It wasn't for you this time. Not this time.
Joe, I saw that Carl Lewis was at the national championship game there at the Alamo Dome yesterday as Florida rallied to beat the Houston Cougars. Do you think that whenever the national anthem is played, he thinks about how bad he was when he sang it that one time?
God, man. Maybe.
When he stopped and goes, here we go. I'm going to bring it home. I'm going to bring it home.
No.
Charlie Steiner from ESPN famously just laughing his ass off to it all.
I mean, what else are you going to do? So
Joe,
bad.
Go to TMZ.com if you can.
All right, there.
Talking about comedian Bert Kreischer. Kreischer. What are your thoughts on the comedian taking part on WWE Raw?
I don't even see it here, dude. I'm looking at the.
It's like the 5th story down.
I'm looking. Oh, I see it. I'll go ahead and put it out here. Here's the thing, dude. When they have anybody that wants to take place in these types of things, right?
Yeah.
Wrestler, want to go ahead and be a wrestler by night. You're a comedian by day.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough getting in that ring. I think people don't understand that these guys that are in that ring, they're athletes, man. It takes a special guy or a gal to get in that ring and to be able to sell these things, right? You not only have to be in extremely good shape and be an athlete, but you also have to be a good actor. You got to sell the hit, and then they get hit for real. It's not fake. But
Let's scroll down. Let's see what he looked like.
Does that look like an athlete's body to you, Mike?
It looks like a WWE body to me.
No, man. What's going to happen with this brother? He's going to tear something, man. I feel bad for him. Let's see what happens.
Again, this is with CM Punk, Austin Theory, Grayson Waller.
Look at him, dude. Come on, man.
Let's go full screen.
I don't know if it'll. There you go.
All right.
CM Punk always hurt too, man. Oh no, brother.
I like it when they attack in jeans.
Yeah. You know that's gonna just hurt the boys, man.
But it kind of reminds me of that movie The Sandlot when Benny the Jet goes swimming in jeans. I never understood that part.
Man. Let's see. Oh, there he is. He got
There he is.
He's wearing
Him
some
eating
stretch
Burt
jeans.
Kreischer.
He's wearing some stretch jeans, dude. That freaking panza hanging out. He's hyped, man.
He's showing Plumber.
Plumber's crack. Yeah, boy. Damn, brother.
He's in second trimester and everything.
No, man.
Ball cap and everything.
He's probably tired as hell already, dude. Let's see what happens to him. Does he get laid out? I hope he does. Oh no, they let him.
No, I
parade.
think he celebrated.
He's out there celebrating. Oh, showing the panza. Look at CM Punk. Oh man. No, man. That's just a recipe for disaster right there. If he has to jump off the ring or do anything athletic, he's gonna tear something, man.
Yeah.
He ain't made for this, dude. He's made to be out there in the stands, just talking smack. Maybe he gets a slap to the face or something by a wrestler. That's what he needs to do. Don't get in the ring, bro. They had the great Shane O'Mac try to make an appearance at WrestleMania. I think it was about a year or two ago. And he hadn't been in the ring for years, dude. And he's out there doing his little dance. He does the money song that we use for Jefe.
Okay.
Right? The money, 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 money. And he tried to jump, right? He jumped real high as the Miz was coming towards him, and he just blew out his knee, dude. He just was on the ground, just writhing in pain. You just don't got it no more, man. At a certain age, the body don't work that way anymore, Mike.
Yeah. That's funny. Hey, do you have your Facebook page up by any chance?
I don't, but I can bring it up.
Are you friends with Alex Noriega?
Yeah, I am. I saw what happened with Alex over the
Yeah,
weekend.
show the video that he posted this weekend. Alex Noriega is a big supporter of our podcast here. He's always on the stream as well. But he and his wife Jen had a big old surprise because Alex is my age. We went to high school together. I'm 48 years old, so he's got to be 47 or 48. He found out that he's going to be a dad for the first time. Now, he's been a stepdad, but a biological father, he and his wife Jen. If you can go through some of those photos, at the very end, there's a video of him doing the gender reveal. And this was over the weekend. Congratulations to Alex and Jen. What did they think it was going to be, a boy or a girl? That's his brothers, Lewis and Joey. And here's how he did the gender reveal. The field goal kick.
Oh,
Congratulations. Our boy Alex is having a boy.
Congratulations to Alex and Jen. Wow.
That's fantastic.
He's 48 years old. He's going to have a child. Congratulations to him, man. It's kind of old for me. Like at this point, like I don't want to have no more kids, dude. I'm done. I am done. But congrats to Alex and Jen, dude. That's great news, man. I had no idea. This was news to me when I saw it.
Well, that's why at your birthday party, they were not drinking.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I noticed that about a month or two ago. I was like, "Hey, Jen, you want to get a drink?" And she's always up for a drink, dude.
Oh yeah, no.
Jen throws them back. She's like, "No, I'm good. I'll just have some water. I'll have a Diet Coke." Mm-hmm. You know what's funny is that Chica and I have stopped drinking a little bit, man.
Really?
Yeah, no reason. We just decided not to drink as much. I don't know what it is. We're just
kind of just slowing down a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question. Were you going to be in town sometime this week?
There's a possibility. I have a potential divorce to finally happen.
Not again.
No, we actually came to terms. Everything is in. It's just
Jeez.
I have to go to the courthouse to sign off on it, but we actually came to a conclusion. So it's kind of like what do they say in the NFL, the tampering period? You know, we have everything. Everything's in. It's just we have to wait for the date to sign it. Everything's good.
Not gonna be asking you for any type of alimony or nothing. Just like, you know what? This is what you get. What you get. Let's just part ways. Good luck to you. You know,
Mhm,
that's it, dude.
mhm.
You'll be done finally. Because I know, hopefully, nothing gets changed at the last minute. That's my biggest fear. Because I saw my friend go through that.
Well, it's been 2 years, man.
It's been a while.
It's been 2 years. Just get
Oh,
this done with. Get this done with.
yeah. Breaking news.
Jesse A says, breaking news. Mike agrees to terms according to sources. It's been 2 years, man. 2 years. Let's just get this done with, man.
I get it done
Get
and
this
over
done
with.
with.
Move on. You know
Yeah.
what I told you? What did I tell you? Once you get it finalized for sure, we're gonna have to go somewhere and have a celebratory stogie, dude.
Yeah. Go on my page real fast.
Yeah.
On my page, I posted a photo of me at church with Chica. And someone gave me crap about this.
Really?
I think it might have been Drew Show that gave me crap about this.
Okay, let's put it up here.
By the way, my cousins were like, "Hey, man, you rebounded well."
Ah,
The right photo,
this one.
this one. Is it inappropriate to wear Astros gear that she bought me to church?
Why wouldn't you want to wear like a nice shirt though? You're at church.
Because it's a really laid back church. Like literally, people are there in baseball caps. People are there wearing t-shirts and shorts. It's laid back. I've gone to some churches before where everyone's all dressed up. Now, my girl's dressed up. She's got a green dress on, and she's got this
Yeah,
nice jacket on. But at the end of the day, that was
that's
a
what I would
Galleria.
expect you to wear, like a collared shirt or something. You know, you show up in Astros. What is that? Is that that's a what? A shirt, right? Is it a
No,
t-shirt?
it's a sweater.
Okay.
It's actually it's a sweater. So it's a long sleeve. So I'm not in a t-shirt. I'm in a long sleeve sweater that she bought me that says Astros on it. By the way, her brother was giving me crap the other day because we talk about this whole thing about fandom, and I had to renounce my Texas Rangers fandom because she wanted me to be an Astros fan. In return, she had to give up her Houston Rockets fandom to become a Spurs fan. She's buying all the Spurs gear. I told her brother this, and her brother starts laughing, going, "She doesn't like the Rockets. She's a Spurs fan. She's always been a Spurs fan. You just got duped."
You got hoodwinked, Mike.
So here I am with the Astros, 2 Astros sweaters, a T-shirt, and a jersey. Very nice. Very
Wow.
nice.
She hoodwinked your ass, dude. I like Chica
Mhm.
style, man.
Well, I gotta let everybody go. Time for me to get on Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia. I'll be on tomorrow's Locked On Spurs podcast, but we're going to be breaking a couple of things down today. Thank you everybody for the super chats as well. MCS Locked On Spurs. Again, reach out to me if you need auto insurance. Reach out to me 210-508-0369. 210-508-0369. Everyone have a fantastic day. Hit the like button. Let everybody know what we're doing because there's no local radio going on at this time. Share, spread the word, especially now that we're going into the summer months when there's less to talk about unless we're going to get really into the draft. So share what we do, baby. We'll be back tomorrow. Everyone have a fantastic day. Joe, great show, my man. And thank you to Matt Lerma as well. Congratulations to him, Carolina Teague, everybody who did local podcasting over there, Mike Taylor, Rudy J, all doing an amazing job representing, and also the city of San Antonio for representing when it came to the Final Four. Again, no big complaints, man. Everyone raved about the city.
Yep.
San Antonio is made for the Final Four. We'll be back tomorrow. Congratulations, Florida Gators.